Hi everyone, I hope your semester is off to a good start. I'm just going to spend a couple of minutes going over a little further the discussion prompts this week and also more information about assignment number 1, which is due on Thursday of next week. But even though it's a short assignment, I think that you might want to get a head start looking at it. This week's discussion forum, as you get started, is going to give you an opportunity to get to know one another a little bit better as far as the communities that you're a part of, and also give you an opportunity to think about the way that community has shaped you and the way that you identify communities that you've participated in, or maybe those that have impacted you. So for your initial post, please describe 2 communities that have been important to your development as a social worker and as a person. These might be communities that you've lived in, institutions, groups, or occupations that you've been a part of. It's pretty open as far as what kind of community you are identifying as having been important for you. So for your post, you'll name the community. You'll describe the community in terms of size, number of members, any other characteristics that are important in helping us understand what that community looks like or how it's made. Then you'll provide a sentence or 2 about the purpose of each community, and then also provide a few sentences about what being a member of each community did or provided for you. Remember that we are part of community, and community is impacted by our own participation. So as we start thinking about community, we're going to be looking at individual and larger societies as interchangeable and impacted by one another. For your responses this week, please respond to at least 2 classmates who don't have responses already, and think about what similarities and differences you see between your experiences and theirs, and also what your communities provided for you in relation to what their communities provided for them. Think about what looked like was important for your classmates, what were important qualities that you noticed in their posts. For your second discussion forum, you will be thinking more about the Widener shared case study. You're going to be looking at Anita's story and thinking beyond the clinical pieces to what the social and economic justice issues at stake are in Anita's case. Please include at least 1 citation from the week's readings and also a citation to the NASW Code of Ethics to support your description of what those social and economic justice issues are. Once you've identified those issues, you'll select one of them and think about how social workers could use community organizing to address the issue. You're going to use the reading from Beckwith and Lopez in order to identify at least 2 community organizing techniques that may be particularly effective in this case. For your responses, you'll follow up with at least 2 classmates who do not yet have responses, and you'll discuss the similarities and differences you see between your observations and those of your classmates. Did you see those issues present in Anita's case in the same way that your classmates did? Or did you have different perspectives? What was important to you? And what other organizing techniques did you identify that maybe your classmates didn't? Or what would you suggest to strengthen what they have identified or strengthen the intervention that they've suggested? So just a review, I did go over guidelines in the previous video, but your initial post for the discussion forum is due on Thursday night, and follow-up responses are due between Friday and Sunday. Your initial post needs to be at least 200 words, and your response needs to be at least 75 words. And please do look back to my guidelines about what makes up a good response. I do use the discussion forum grading rubric as a guideline in all of my grading around the discussion forums and also the assignments. So become familiar with that in the syllabus if you have any questions about what I might be looking for or how I base my grades. Also, make sure that you're citing anything that you're pulling from the readings. So, assignment number 1, a presentation called My Community in Words and Pictures. This is not due this week. This is due week number 2, Thursday evening of week number 2. But you may want to take some time to start thinking about this project. Even though it's a short presentation, it does contain a lot of information that you might want to really start spending some time pulling out. So this presentation is a brief presentation using pictures and words that attempt to answer the question, do I live in a good community? You're going to start by reading the article Seeking the Good Community to give you a framework for assessing yours. Please use PowerPoint or Word to display the information and use Screencast-O-Matic to record your screen and voice. If you have any questions about this technology, please let me know. Your syllabus also includes information for how to download it in case it's new for anybody. The idea is that your presentation should be visual. It should include pictures, photographs, videos, tables, anything that you can think of that can help present the material in a dynamic way. So the presentation will be comprised of 4 main components. First is a demographic description of your community. Who are the residents in your community? You're going to use demographic information. You can use the census, FedStats, open data. Some additional suggestions for these sites of where to locate statistical information are in your syllabus. Also look at quality of life information. This is statistical information that helps demonstrate what life is like for residents, what culture kind of looks like. This could include data on crime, education, poverty, religion, other kinds of information that help demonstrate how people spend their days or what worries them. Secondly, you're going to give an overview of important institutions in your community, and this includes both formal institutions such as major industries and employers, economic, educational, religious, political institutions, and also informal institutions like church or neighborhood groups, sports, recreation, community festivals, annual celebrations. Those are all important parts of your community and complement the formal institutions that may or may not be present. You're also going to provide a map of your community. You should be able to find this. Sometimes you can use city websites or from the census data, but please do show us what your community looks like or what the boundaries are or what kind of area it might be situated in. And then finally, provide a good community assessment of your community. You're going to be comparing elements in your community to the framework provided in the article. This will help determine whether or not you consider your community to be good, and we want you to explain why or why not. What changes or improvements would you make in your community if you could? This is really going to set up the kind of the framework for much of the class and thinking about how do we determine what is good and valid in a community, how do we determine what needs are in a community, and then how do we come up with solutions or interventions that might help get us to the change that we need to produce. Some final notes. Please make sure that you watch your presentation before turning it in. Check for any sound or presentation errors. Make sure that it's engaging. Make sure that we can hear and see all the things that we need to be able to hear and see. And then also make sure to remember to include a citations page in proper APA format. Even though it is a presentation, we want to see the work that you're citing, and you can include it in a page toward the end of your presentation. So that's it. If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to let me know. I really look forward to seeing your first discussion posts this week.